Luke, did you get the response you wanted today?
I'll let you answer your own question, I reckon, Anna.
Well, I mean, during the week you talked about the things that you wanted to see addressed and changed. It was a pretty comprehensive first quarter. Was that what you wanted to see?
Yeah. Obviously, yes is the short answer to overall. But yeah, if after specifics, there was just a disconnect between most of the things we were doing last week, and we felt it was more. Played against a pretty good side in Melbourne, and probably just got across the ground a bit better than us, and sometimes in the, I suppose, the collision game, other teams can, get a hold of who they're playing. I just felt they were a little bit better than us last week. So all those things, felt we really defended a lot better as a group, and there was some exciting ball use and obviously being able to convert and during that period of time, we haven't done so well in recent times when we've lost a player, especially an important backman. So when Nick Caulfield went off, for Bailey Williams to go back and cover, he played a really important role, and everything else remained stable. So that was good for us. And when they were coming at us, and they kicked the last few at the end of the third quarter, not ideal. So it was good to be able to stabilise.
You mentioned the backline, obviously. The intercept game, especially, it seemed to be really working. So Liam Jones, Buku, and as I said, a few of the other guys as well. Yeah,
they did, Ronnie. They intercepted well, and I think there's no doubt we had a lot more pressure around the footy, and the combat from our inside mids was, quite extraordinary at times. And we knew coming in, our guys really respect their midfield, and whether it's Tuke Miller at his absolute best or what young Raoul's been able to do in recent times, and Noah Anson's such a good player, and Flanders, and obviously missing Humphries today, they had to make up for that. But it just, what the boys did out of the middle early, just to give us some momentum, and then at the cold face, we were just really strong. And I thought Tim and Sam did a really good job in the ruck.
I mean, a lot's been made of Gold Coast having this up-and-coming midfield in the competition. I mean, it seemed like, guys like Ponton, they were playing almost as if they wanted to just show the young pups a bit of a boost of a bit of work to do, kind of thing. Yeah, they need to, and you probably throw Adam into that as well, and that's the danger in this competition. As soon as you think you can rely on your experience and your nous, you get bitten on the bum. And not that the boys you mentioned, that happens to very often, but last week, I suppose, consistently across the four quarters, we probably lowered our colours. And today, and young Riley Sanders contributed in there, as did Harvey Gallagher, and Caleb Daniel played a pretty important role in that as well.
You answered a lot of questions about selection, I think, yesterday, midweek. What was it like during the week? Were you contemplating things? Were you throwing things up in the air? Or were you set on the thing that you went into, plan you went into?
We were pretty firm on not throwing the toys out after one disappointing experience. We felt like we've had a really strong pre-season. The outings against Hawthorn gave us evidence that we had, and so we walked away from the MCG last week a little bit disconcerted, and we didn't want to search too far for different things, because the things that we've been doing, and there are a number of things coming out of last year that we've really worked on over pre-season that didn't come to the fore last week. So to see some of them be more prevalent in our game today, and I thought our coaches did a terrific job with the players throughout the week, just keeping it simple, reminding them of what they're capable of, and then providing clarity around what the real focus areas needed to be today, and the boys were able to execute extremely well. So we needed to get into a room and just reassure each other that that's the route we needed to take, and reassure the players that no one's going to lose their heads. But it's only round two. We played reasonably well today. In the bigger picture, we've still got a lot of work to do, and in respect of everyone we're going to play. So the message out there just then was enjoy the win for a moment, but let's move on pretty quickly.
Cody, 6 goals, obviously 4 at the start, and 2 are pretty pivotal moments. Felt like as well. Just your thoughts on his performance.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I mean, we thought going in maybe that they'd be a bit challenged with their height. We didn't anticipate Lukosius was going to play back, so they didn't have too many concerns there. But you're always searching for evidence and what the team you're playing is thinking around matchups and whether it's system based or role based. And I think Cody's a handful for any small to medium defender. And he played a really important role for us today. So we need to keep mixing it up, because there are days it's probably the hardest position on the ground, that small forward role, and there are days when Cody's not going to, he's going to work hard, but he's not going to get those opportunities. So we need to keep mixing it up for him. But it's great to see him get some reward for his intensity, I suppose, and his willingness to play that sort of deeper role at different times.
Is he almost like a grower for the team? Because when he seems like he's up and going, he almost seems like the whole team gets a lift and gets really ignited by when he's really on fire.
Oh, it helps, Ronnie. I mean, when you're getting enough inside 50s and you're able to capitalise, and he is a great finisher. I mean, there's small forwards in the game that probably out there more for defence than score assist and scoreability, and Flea defends well. He's got a terrifically rounded game, but he's a really dangerous forward. So, but when you think about the ignition, what lit the forest, and what gave us the impetus, it definitely started in that middle with that midfield brigade being able to get on top early and provide us with some momentum.
You mentioned Caleb earlier. How did you see how he responded to being a sub last week? It seemed like really professional response from one of your better players. Yeah,
really mature and as you say, professional, and he's such a great team man. When you reflect back on his journey and all the different roles that he's played, and he is a great director and also conversation point for us out there. He's a terrific leader. So in the roles that he's always played, you kind of got to find the right role for him game to game almost. So I think coming up against different opposition week in, week out, you can place him where you think he's going to have the most effect, and he'll be able to pull it off. He's not a player that will come to you and say, hey, I need to be bedded down in a primary role. He can play anywhere. So he didn't have leather poisoning today, but his role was critical to the team's performance.
Does that make it difficult with someone like him who can fill many roles for you to actually know what is the right thing, right way to manage?
Yeah, it's a challenge at times, and you're trying to place him where he's going to create the most headaches for the opposition. Sometimes we've moved away from him playing as a high defender regularly in recent times. It's not that he won't play there, and we'll keep an open mind. There are times today where you'll see him, behind the stoppage, and it's part of the adjustments that he was making. It wasn't a gale force win, but it's enough that the ball's going to carry, and he reads the turnover game so well that he gets the spots 10 metres ahead of others because he's that far ahead of the game. So, but getting back to the pointiness of the is it difficult to? It is at times, especially when there's a lot of pressure on for spots, and that's what has sort of happened coming into the start of the year. Some of the younger guys like Harvey Gallagher and Riley Sanders, and some of the new players. Lockie Bramble was good again today. Unfortunately, as I said, we lost Nick Caulfield with a shoulder, and the wingers leading into the game, into the start of the year. So they were putting pressure on, and we need integrity for the whole group. And but as he managed it really well, and but he, like even the experienced guys you mentioned before, he just knows that each week he's got to be at his best, and he was influential today.
No, I was just going to say, seeing Darcy and Buku seem to be confidence boosters, I'd imagine, for those two guys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Buku is another one that had a good lead into the season. Then it was challenging last week, but today, he was super. His intercept game was strong, and getting back to enough pressure around the ball. But his read on that's generally pretty good. And for Sam, I mentioned before the game that he's better positioned to play at the level for a longer period of time, and I think he impacted pretty well in the two positions he played today. And he's so long, and he's got a lot of courage, Sam. So he'll get to as many contests as he can. So it's good signs for him.
I'm assuming the two boys you mentioned will probably be unavailable for next week. Would that open the door for Jack McRae at 47 touches in the VFL today, I think it was?
Yeah.
That make him closer, like bridging the team a bit, or?
Yeah. So Nick Caulfield, is definitely out. Who's the other one?
Looks like Ed Richards came off.
Yeah. Richo's going to be out, concussion. So absolutely. I mean, it's not that we didn't consider Jack this week, but I think one of the important things is you back your preparation in, and the temptation was there. But for Harvey and Riley Sanders to play as the supporting act, they'd really earn it. They'd done extremely well, and as I've said, Jack is still in a build, and today at VFL levels, and probably enough evidence that he's pretty ready to step up. So there's no doubt he'd be considered, and there'd be a big chance to come in. So we'll work out what the shuffle is, because of the 5 inside mids who played through there. None of them did anything wrong. So it becomes a bit of a team balance type decision as well.
Just to comment on Caulfield, it must be so disappointing. He worked so hard to finally get back to playing footy now. It seems like a pretty serious shoulder injury.
Yeah, well, Belly just mentioned to me that he's had that shoulder repaired before, so it's disappointing. And I think we hoped when we brought him in he'd get a clean run at it over pre-season, because he had some late soft tissue stuff at state league level last year, and thankfully he has, and his knees held up fine. But it's pretty unstable, that shoulder, so I imagine I can't confirm what's going to happen, but I imagine he's going to be out for a fair while.
I guess Oscar really took his chance, didn't he? 3 goals, career best for him coming off.
Oscar Baker, he did, yeah. So good for him to finish like that, and he's another example of a lad who's probably stiff to the old stiff selection to miss out on round 1. But it's always a sort of a psychological challenge for the sub to come on and make an impact. I suppose if you come on a bit earlier, you've got a bit more time. So I thought he and Pulse did a pretty good job on those wings, and the supporting guys filled in the gaps.
And how's he with the concussion? And did you see the collision with Swallow?
Yeah, it was right in. Sorry, I'll cut you off.
No.
It was right in front of us, so we knew. I think these days when someone goes down like that, straight away you jump to the glass half empty type conclusion, and he's fine. Like he's no dramas. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not a medical practitioner, but obviously, when you come off and you can't come back on, then you miss, and you've got 12 days. So hopefully it's just a 12, and he hasn't had many head knocks over the journey, Richo. And we find ourselves saying that, don't we? So we'll just look after him, and all things going well, then he'll be available for the gather round in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.